The video you are about to watch was made for entertainment purposes only. The views and opinions expressed in this video are those of the content creators themselves and should not be taken personally. So sit back and enjoy.
Somebody said you should be president. You don't want me to be president because I'm turning the TV off at 12. Do you get what I'm saying? You remember when the flag used to come on? I'm turning that off. Social media is off at 12. I don't give a fuck what money you're making off of it. You can start again at 6 in the morning. Sunday, this shit is completely turned off because you need to sleep or spend some time with your family or go to church or whatever it is that you need to do. That shit's off on Sunday. So you don't want me to be the president because I'm going to take the most highest salaries in the world. It's going to be the garbage man and the teachers.
Yeah.
Because those are the two most important. So like you want America to be great again, let's get educated. Racism is going to be against the law. You can't be racist in my, there's too many different people from everywhere. How you going to be racist? You can't be racist here. Go to another country. Touching, feeling, hurting, anything to a child, death. Let me explain why. We have volcanoes. Why are we not using them? Throw their ass in a volcano. You tell a motherfucker, you throw a couple of motherfuckers in the volcano, we gonna straighten up out here. Why you think we got volcanoes? I know it sounds crazy. Why we got death row?
Yeah.
Why we got death row? I never understood that. I mean, I get it. There's some people there that's not supposed to be there. That's why we bring in those prosecutions and the defense and we go through their case to make sure that you're supposed to be here or whatever. And then we, I'm not saying everybody gonna go in the volcano, but a lot of people gonna be in that volcano.
Every morning I wake up to a new headline lying about me. I have comedians dressing up in whiteface. I have people saying I'm not fit to be CEO. And I have Candace Owens claiming I murdered my husband. And the list goes on and on and on.
So, this is apparently what Olivia Wilde looks like now. Just take it in. I want you to sit with this picture. We know what this is, right? This isn't just aging. You can tell by the skin quality, by where the sags and the bags and the dimples in the skin are, by what bones the skin is stretching over, by what the hairline is doing. It is what it is. Get off the weight loss shots. Unless you have a medical condition that requires you to be on them, like diabetes or extreme obesity, get off the weight loss shots. Get off them.
You're now going to get a speeding ticket without ever being pulled over. Avis. No, I'm not talking about the car rental company. I am talking about the automated vehicle identification system. These are like those flock cameras you see at the traffic lights. Well, what they are now going to be doing is they're going to be issuing you speed tickets. Yes, even though you're at a stoplight, you're going to get a speeding ticket. Because what they're going to be doing is absolutely insane. It is now ran by an AI algorithm that says, well, if this car was at point A and then at this time, and then at this time it was at point B, the only way it could have got there in this amount of time is if they were speeding. It will calculate exactly how fast you were going over the speed limit and issue you automatically a speeding ticket without you being able to even challenge it.
Breaking news. Donald Trump is screaming at the world to stop talking about Epstein. He has done everything to make this go away, like kidnapping the Venezuelan president and starting a war in Iran that he's losing. But nothing is working. I cannot help but wonder if this is a response to the 60 Minutes interview where the interviewer was reading the manifesto of the shooter from Saturday nights at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. In the manifesto, it read, "I am no longer willing to permit PDF, a rapist, and a traitor to coat my hands with his crimes." Trump's response was, "I am not a rapist and I'm not a PDF." You read that crap from some sick person. You shouldn't be reading that on 60 Minutes. You are a disgrace. Why so defensive? And now you're screaming, stop talking about Epstein? Today, he also posted a random Twitter post calling for Trump to change the name from ICE to NICE, the National Immigration and Customs Enforcement. So the media has to say, nice agents, all day, every day. And he captioned it with, great idea, do it, President DJT.
What race owns 75% of NBA teams?
African American?
Nope. What race is 70% of Trump's cabinet?
Probably white or something.
Nope. What race started at LGBTQ?
Probably white.
Nope. Guess what race prints all the money we use?
White people.
Nope.
A 18-year-old's attempt to create a viral video ended in a courtroom today as he was sentenced for the accidental death of his best friend. The tragedy occurred while the suspect, Tyler, and his friend Leo were filming content together in front of a live camera. What began as a playful exchange quickly turned into a nightmare when Tyler delivered a punch that struck Leo in a vulnerable spot. The entire incident was captured on high-definition video, showing the horrifying moment Leo collapsed to the ground. Police arrived within minutes to find a distraught Tyler attempting to help his friend, but Leo was tragically pronounced dead at the scene. In court, the mood was devastating as the prosecution played the final video footage, documenting the last seconds of Leo's life. While the defense argued there was no intent to harm and described the act as a tragic accident between friends, the judge noted the recklessness of the behavior. The victim's family sat in the front row, holding photos of the two boys together in happier times. Ultimately, the judge ruled that accountability was necessary to prevent future tragedies, sentencing Tyler to 4 years in prison for involuntary manslaughter. Should teenagers be held criminally responsible for accidents that happen during social media stunts? Can a prison sentence ever truly compensate for the loss of a best friend? Share your perspective below.
What's up, America? Do not buy a new car because starting 2027, every new car in the United States will be required by law to have tech that puts constant surveillance on the driver, not only watching you, but listening to your conversations as well. And if the vehicle determines that you're a danger on the road, it will turn your car off. So by 2027, the law states, quote, every new passenger vehicle sold in the United States must include technology that constantly monitors the driver via AI, cameras, and sensors and can automatically shut down or limit the car if the system decides you're not sober or fit to drive. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration is creating new federal motor vehicle safety standards requiring, quote, advanced impaired driving prevention technology powered by AI tools and systems. They state that the technology must now passively monitor the driver at all times. If the system detects a problem, it can prevent the car from starting or limit its speed and operation while driving. So let's say you're not fucked up and you just decide to close your eyes and stretch. Does it think you're fucked up and it'll stop the vehicle while you're driving? The law states that this is not a remote government kill switch, but the decision happens on board via AI and sensors. So basically, whatever technology they put in there, it's a government kill switch. Now, older cars obviously will be unaffected, but cars 2027 or after will all have this shit.
Many new cars have this feature that I'm going to call the Eye of Sauron. This is a driver monitor system that watches your eyes to see what you're looking at if you're paying attention, all of that. To make things even worse, you can't truly fully disable this. You can disable some of the warnings, but it'll always be watching you. You pair that with the fact that the automakers also have your GPS coordinates at all times. And now you can see why I call this the Eye of Sauron. They're always watching. And finally, this version is very easy to see, but automakers are looking to maybe put some driver monitors up in this area, hide it in the dash, maybe somewhere on the steering wheel. In the future, you won't be able to tell that your car has it, so maybe it's time to buy an old car.
The question before us is the passage of House Bill 1312. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. House Bill 1312 has passed.
Oh, yep, this is real. Colorado has passed a bill that if you misgender your child, you will lose custody of them. There aren't enough butt cheeks in the world to hold on to for this. What? So in Colorado, you can lose custody of your child if you misgender them. Your child, the one you grew in your body and raised and loved can be taken away from you if you call them the gender that they are. This is where we are in 2026.
So Caroline Levitt is bragging about the new TikTok deal the Trump administration has been working on. But if you listen real closely to what she's saying, she's basically just describing that the U.S. is going to control the app entirely in the United States and the algorithm. Listen to this.
There will be 7 seats on the board that controls the app in the United States, and 6 of those seats will be Americans. And the data and privacy will be led by one of America's greatest tech companies, Oracle, and the algorithm will also be controlled by America as well. So
what I'm hearing is that the U.S. government and the oligarchs are now going to control what we see on TikTok. That's not protecting privacy. What they're actually doing is implementing surveillance and censorship and trying to lie and say it's about national security. They're celebrating that the U.S. government and its hand-picked corporations are now going to control our data, our privacy, and what we see on the For You page. But here's the thing. Once the government can step in and say who controls the algorithm, that means they can also control whose voices they amplify and whose voices they suppress. Of course, that means they're only going to amplify the voices they want to who are spreading their propaganda. That means if we want to question the people in power or speak out against them, we have to go through government approval first. They're not trying to save TikTok from China or protect our data. They're trying to seize control of everything for themselves.
So millions of Americans that own Fords are now blowing up and destroying their Ford trucks after the government now has full control over each Ford vehicle. You didn't know Henry Ford is definitely rolling in his grave. He is extremely anti-government when he was alive. And now his car company is the first company for the government to literally have a button to auto stop any car that is a Ford. That is insane. Because of the new law that was just passed, but Ford's nightmare truck is here. They just patented a truck that you won't own, but will own you. Apparently, there's AI cameras that read your face, eyes, and emotions and fitness to drive. So it won't let you shift out of park if it thinks you're not calm enough. Let's say someone's chasing you, about to kill you. You get in your car so you can drive away, but the AI is like, hey, no, you're freaking out too much. You need to calm down first. Like, bro, what if he has a gun and just through the window, like, you know? Live feeds to insurance companies and cops biometric scans running you against criminal databases in real time. Just constantly checking to see if you have a warrant, lip reading tech, plus microphones that eavesdrop on every conversation for targeted ads. Now this, guys, I don't think this is lying. Like, I think this is probably just very deep in like the terms of service and stuff. But you paid for it. You have the title before it decides if you actually get to drive it. Yeah, Ford's over, guys. What do y'all think?
The biggest problem in this country is that people who make $700 an hour have convinced people who make $25 an hour that people who make $7 an hour are the problem.
Tell me, what is something they told you in school that you found out is a complete lie?
This is probably going to piss some people off, but the entire institution itself is a complete lie. It doesn't teach you how to live your life. It discourages critical thinking. It, in fact, indoctrinates you into how to be a sheep, to follow the capitalist construct that is our society.
It doesn't encourage anyone to think for themselves or to seek happiness or to seek joy or to seek productivity or to seek prosperity. It teaches you how to seek the basic minimum, how to do nothing but work under somebody else's thumb day in, day out for 40 hours a week and to live for 2 days of freedom every weekend. The entire institution in and of itself is a lie.
You think Jesus is a Democrat or Republican?
I think Jesus is neither a Democrat or a Republican because both of them are owned by the Zionists.
And why do you say that?
Because both parties are controlled by the Jewish Zionists. They completely control the Congress, the Senate, the President of the United States of America, the entire U.S. foreign policy. So, yeah.
So Trump went and destroyed the entire East Wing of the White House illegally, started building the ballroom illegally, and now he wants it funded by the taxpayers, as Lindsey Graham has introduced legislation that they will vote on to fund and build Trump's big, beautiful ballroom for $400 million of our taxpayer money. Yeah, doing this, it won't be funded by private investors anymore, which is also questionable, and, you know, because of the emoluments clause and bribery concerns and things like that. So now we are going to flip the bill if they pass this. So hopefully this doesn't happen, but regardless, the National Trust for Historic Preservation has said they are going to continue pursuing their lawsuit against the ballroom.
Under the Trump economic plan, we will cut your energy prices in half within, mark it down, and you can get very angry at me if we don't do it. Within 12 months, your energy prices will be cut in half. My plan will cut energy prices in half or more than that within 12 months of taking office. Number one, your energy bill within 12 months will be cut in half, and that's my pledge all over the country. Beyond farmers, that's my pledge all over the country. If you vote for me, I will cut your energy and electricity prices in half within 12 months. We're going to cut them down in half. And under my plan, we will cut energy and electricity prices in half within 12 months, and that means for your homes, too. I will cut your energy and electricity prices in half, 50%, 50, within 12 months of taking the oath of office. My plan will cut energy prices in half. Within 12 months, we're going to have energy prices for businesses, but in my opinion, maybe even more importantly for the average household, I said by 12 months from January 20th, which is the day we go into office, I will cut the price of energy and electricity in half. Ready? 12 months from January 20th, to take office on January 20th, your electric bill, including cars, air conditioners, heating, everything, your total electric bill will be 50% less. We're going to cut it in half. And I will cut your energy and electricity prices in half within 12 months of taking office. 50%. A pledge that I'm making now, and we've done this a little bit over the last month or so, we are going to bring energy down by 50%, 50%, within 12 months from January 20th.
Did you guys see the woman who caught her husband cheating while she was like out of town on a work trip because because she got a notification on her phone that someone weighing 130 pounds used their smart scale at 3 a.m? Men can't get away with shit these days. I love it.
I think a flat earth is easier to believe. Well, and quite frankly, I would love it to be true. Why? Because that means there is a creator. And that's what I'm really looking for, to know for sure. Because again, I tell people all the time, yeah, I believe. Why? Because it's safer too. Because if you don't believe and it's correct, you're fucked. And if you do believe and you're wrong, nothing. You had a good life. You were kind to people. You did the right thing. Like, what's the harm in believing? Like, you can't just simply fucking believe. That's a dumb thing if you can't believe. Well, I'm not going to believe because, dude, the gamble is like massive. Because if it's true and you don't believe. Now, people will say, well, he knows your heart and he knows you don't really believe. I believe there's a creator, but I don't know there's a creator. Just like
that's why you need to look into this further so you know.
I think you believe there's a flat earth, but you don't know.
No, I know it's not a globe, 100%. Yeah.
Is there a space station?
There is no space station. Now, we do see a light in the sky, and we could take the time and look at what we see and what we would see if it was what they said, and none of it lines up.
So all these Hubble telescopes and powerful telescopes are bullshit.
Total nonsense.
So now we can see bullshit.
Total bullshit. I haven't seen 3i Atlas yet, and most people haven't. You haven't. It could just be, when I say comet, it's not when they tell us a comet's this big icy ball coming through the solar system. It's not. It's a sign in the sky. When we zoom in, we have telescopes, flat earthers have high-end telescopes, and we can zoom in on galaxies and stuff, but these things are close. They're not far away, and we can prove it. In the app.
Then why doesn't somebody fucking get in a ship and go there?
Because there are no ships. Nobody goes to space. I know that's hard to believe, but it's not. Have you looked into the Challenger astronauts, the ones that blew up in 1986?
Real, or somebody made it?
6 of the 7 have been found, identified, same name, same age, no record of having a twin. Have you looked into the nuclear bomb hoax?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's another thing. On my website, flatearthdave.com, there's a nuclear bomb banner. Just go listen to that, research it yourself, and you'll understand that nuclear bombs are to keep people living in fear, false evidence appearing real. Fear is the only way they can control us. You asked me earlier, how come they don't just take me out? I don't believe that they can unless I live in fear and allow them to. And I don't live in fear at all. I used to be afraid of everything.
What would be the benefit to make us all believe that we're living on a ball?
So there's a saying that he who created it owns it. So God created the earth, and nature doesn't lie. So if we live in nature, there's God's law, natural law. Basically, don't kill anybody, and and be good. But if they make you believe that you live on a ball, that's their ball field. You have to play by their ball field rules, and they can make up any rules that they want because you're playing on their ball field. I don't like calling it an ice wall. I call it
that would be a edge.
Well, it's like a lake. If you're in a lake in 300-mile around lake in Kansas, the shoreline of the lake is holding the water in. So if you get to the edge, first, can you fall off? Because people say, don't you fall off the edge of the earth? No, you step up onto the land. We'll call all of the rest of Kansas Antarctica.
Yeah, but if we live on a flat earth, there is an edge.
Well, there is an edge? Where is it? I haven't seen it.
Flat earth, there is an edge.
Is there?
How can there not be?
Well, does space have an edge? The space that, we're told we live in?
It doesn't exist.
Well, we're not making a claim if there's an edge. There could be.
Dude, if there's an edge, then it's flat for sure.
Well, how would we know? What if it's 1,000,000 miles farther? What if there is a firmament that connects down? What if we're in for lack of a better term, a snow globe type enclosure? Now, the Bible says it's a crystal firmament, a solid expanse.
And it's much more secure. It's drone proof, it's bulletproof glass. We need the ballroom. That's why Secret Service, that's why the military are demanding it. They've wanted the ballroom for 150 years for reasons.
The ballroom will be a solution for this.
I think we got to build that ballroom as soon as possible.
The ballroom makes total sense.
A ballroom is imperative for a lot of reasons.
The president needs the ballroom.
You would worship Baal if you wanted to succeed and be affluent and live a lavish lifestyle. Baal is typified as a bull. A calf is a baby bull. They were worshiping Baal. And see, what happens is we read the Bible and we think, those people are primitive. Thankfully, we've moved beyond that sort of primitive thinking. Thankfully, we don't worship a Baal or bull. Yes, we do. This is right next to the New York Stock Exchange. If we were Hebrews from the Old Testament, we would say, well, there's Baal, the golden bull. And we worship him because we want a bull or Baal market. A bull or Baal market is a thriving market. What I'm telling you is this: we're dealing with new days but old demons. I've said this for a long time. If the people change and things don't, that means that the spirit working through them is the same.
Pretty wild that a tiny tax on tea started the revolution. And now we get the living daylights tax out of us, and nobody seems to... There's no revolution. I mean, you get taxed on what you own, you get taxed on what you buy, and you get taxed on what you own. And it's like, okay, this is taxes, and and then what does it get spent on? A bunch of the stuff it gets spent on you don't even agree with. So that's why we need to reduce the size of government. And just spend less money, and let the people keep a lot more of their hard-earned money.